For thousands of years, nobody thought about the future. Life was more of a cycle, sunrise, sunset, and that was that. This is how life was in the days before farming or pre-ordering steelbook editions. It was only when people began to plant crops that there was a reason to think about what was going to happen in the future. The weather, the seasons, the harvest, the pre-order bonuses. Eventually, people began to imagine better futures. In 1260, Roger Bacon wrote the Epistola de Secretis Operibus Artis et Naturae et de Nullitate Magiae, which predicted the car, helicopter, and submarine. Not bad for a guy who sounds like a character from Viz magazine. In 1783, a sheep, a duck, and a cockerel took flight in a hot air balloon for the amusement of Louis XVI. This had everyone in Paris convinced that it was now only a matter of time before they would be soaring through the city skies using their own aerial contraptions. By the way, the sheep, duck, and cockerel all survived the journey and became heroes, rewarded with their own place within the Palace of Versailles menagerie. No wonder people were so optimistic. But today, we have a far more pessimistic view of the future. It's often said that the current generation are the first generation in a long time that should expect to not have a life as good as their parents had. Even advances in technology have begun to lose their appeal. Many people no longer feel excited by new technologies and instead see new opportunities to make life worse. So why so negative? Well, a lot of people today do not like the situation we're already in, and as my grandfather used to say, it's very easy to feel pessimistic towards the future when you're trapped in a portaloo that's filling up with manky water. But we should keep in mind that nobody knows what the future holds. Anyone who has ever waited for the 49 bus will tell you that even short-term futures are impossible to predict. No one in 2019 could have accurately told you what 2020 would be like, so why believe anyone who claims to know what we're going to be doing in 100 years, good or bad? Official UK PlayStation magazine said the PS2 was going to have 4 controller ports. Clueless. Today, you can't talk about the future without talking about data. The data that's being collected on us now is going to shape tomorrow's city planning, healthcare, artificial intelligence, wars, everything really. This is why data is now considered one of the world's most valuable commodities, if not the most valuable. Perhaps it's unsurprising that a lot of people don't like the future we're heading towards because it's built on something they feel is inherently untrustworthy. Nobody likes to feel someone's collecting information on them, no matter how legal it is. Nice of them to say they'll keep the information private though, isn't it? Like, yeah, private from you. They'll be using your data to build the future, but you're not allowed to see it. It's important to remember that whenever a company promises to respect your privacy, all that amounts to is assigning you a number instead of using your name, which they'll know anyway. They'll keep track of what you're watching, buying, where you're going, what you're eating, who you like to interact with and when, but they'll call you number 3029G77 instead of Roger Bacon. Imagine all your crap tweets being poured into the same AI systems that are going to decide the fate of our civilization. Ugh. A possible upside to all this data collection is that if everyone's medical histories were fed into a clever computer box, then we could end up with a program that provides diagnosis with greater accuracy than any ear-probing doctor ever could hope to. In fact, we may all be seeing less of flesh and blood doctors in future, as nanobot tech is already being developed specifically to sit in your guts fighting disease before medical attention is required. Your wristwatch will be able to say, "There's a 98% chance that burger you're eating is going to give you a heart attack," and your nanobots can begin injecting anti-heart attack juice directly into your bloodstream. Eat up, chum! Of course not everyone is going to want to let big data get their mitts on their medical history, and that's perfectly reasonable. It's bad enough having companies combing your social media when you apply for a job. What if they knew your next burger might kill you? But hey, maybe health insurance will get cheaper. As long as you're hitting your daily reps and avoiding food that will lower your goody two-shoes score, this will inevitably be spun as a positive. A reward for everyone who loves themselves enough to stay happy and healthy, instead of, sorry, but it's gonna cost you $350,000 a month for health insurance, Mr. fucking Cakes. Why not take a complimentary mint on the way out, you pathetic hog? At least 30% of all currently existing jobs are going to be automated in the not too distant future. When people express concern about this issue, they're often dismissed with, "Don't worry, everyone whose job is at risk can get a job maintaining the machine that replaced them." But, come on, you're not going to rehire the 300 people you fired from the rubber duck factory to stare at the rubber duck making machines. Society is going to have to rethink how work works. In fact, we probably should have done that already, since we're not too far from it being legal for your supervisor to drop a cinder block on your head for blinking too many times on the assembly line. Please remember to stay alert by splashing yourself in the face with your own piss bottle now and then. You can blink during your gig economy job that you have on the side. Why not call it a hustle and pretend you aren't living inside a nightmare? On a more positive note, eventually we'll have computers and AI that are better at creating computers and AI than we are. So the people who invented the tech that put everyone out of work will be in the same unemployment line as everybody else. Ha! City planning will change. Smart cities built around data are already underway. Shared electric vehicles could lead to the spaces currently taken up by car parks being used for wildlife, or tree parks. Of course, the more likely outcome is a landlord will turn every car park into an incredibly drafty Airbnb and call it an experience. But can we really blame anyone for wanting to hand our responsibilities over to the machines? We've had ample time to sort ourselves out, and frankly, it's starting to look like we're never going to. Maybe when computers are calling the shots, we can finally stop killing each other, not because the computers have solved all our problems, but because we can collectively shift all blame onto them. Nothing brings people together like a common enemy, so look forward to world peace being achieved when everyone starts kicking fuck out of a bunch of quantum laptops. Not so long ago, everyone was quite keen on this tech-driven future. All these really nice Silicon Valley companies were going to save the world when they weren't too busy making The Internship starring Owen Wilson and Owen Wilson's friend. A fallen civilization or two later, and we're not so eager to put all our eggs into the silicon basket. But it's too late. Big data is the boat we're in. We're on the ark and the water is rising, so hold on tight and try to ignore the ominous creaking coming from the hull. Oh, by all means, jump overboard if you don't like it, but remember, there's no Wi-Fi in the ocean. And hey, who cares if we screw it up? There's always Mars, right? Wrong. You're never gonna feel that Mars sand under your feet. Everything about Mars will kill you. The soil is poison, it's constantly blasted with radiation, the gravity will fuck your bones. The best you can hope for is a dome on Mars to stay inside. At which point, just stay on Earth? We're not going to make Earth less hospitable than Mars, no matter how hard we try. And even if we did, just build the dome here or on the moon. Please give up your dreams of opening the first vape shop on Mars. Personally, when I think about the future, all I can wonder is, how many more times am I going to be expected to care about Batman being in a film before I die? Perhaps I'll live long enough to be uploaded to a server along with everyone else, kept nice and cool by the next ice age, playing Fortnite in the cloud until Earth is engulfed by the sun. See you there, gamers.